All right, we're here now. All right, awesome. All right, so last time we talked a lot about like holding, like moving from corner to corner, especially like using shield to do so, or HP if necessary. And then you hold the corner as much as you can, and also when you're about to die, at the very least, put your shield up so you don't like die easily. We can talk about how to shield later, but like for now, the goal was to actually use your shield when you're in trouble. So let's see how that works.
One. Attackers in. Defend objective A.
All right, so real quick, um, there's like you have like a lot of indecisiveness. Like you started here, and then you just kind of walk this way, and then you're like, okay, I don't want to be here. I'm gonna walk back, and the whole time you had a hold shield, right? So you hold shield, like, okay, actually I don't want to be here. I want to go right side, and you lost half your shield, right? And now if they were to like really aggressively rush you, it'd be very hard for you to do anything about it, right? Because you're half shield, right? So again, just pick a spot, commit to it, right? And then decide after whether it was a good decision, right? And you can do some adjustment, like you can be like, do I need to be here? Like, no, okay, I'm gonna back up this way over here, or I'm gonna back up over here, right? Um, but like it should be, it shouldn't you like you make a decision, it shouldn't be unless something changes in the situation, right? So like, say you're like maybe I should go over there, so I'm gonna walk over here, right? And then for some reason, I don't know, like you start getting pushed really hard, so you try to regroup with your team, right? Like that'd be one reason to go back, but you just kind of like change your mind, right? So like either like commit to playing this spot, right, or commit to playing this spot, but don't just like shuffle between the two and waste your shield. Feel? Because otherwise you're effectively just standing in the choke with your shield. Also, again, be wary about how long you spend not shielding against teams that are like looking at you. So like if you look at what the enemy team has to look at, ignoring the ball who's doing anything, right? Who do they have to look at, right? It's just you, right? So when you, this is fine, right? Okay, right? And then when you get aggressive here, right? This is actually a pretty good move to like swing to the left so you can't get shot from the DPS, right? But if you're gonna push into the choke, you only get like one, maybe two swings before you have to put up your shield, back up around the corner again, right? Because you're going to eat the focus, right? The only reason you don't actually melt here is because you're on a sleeps Junkrat and because this McCree's incompetent. Yeah, and this McCree just walks up and flashes you, and like he had no ammo for the fan. If he had full ammo for the fan, you actually could have died there, right? See how that works? He shot you with like one fan the hammer bullet. And like this is because you went for a second swing in the choke with nothing else for them to shoot. Right. Okay. Again, don't be afraid, right? Like to just if you feel like you like that was fine there because you aggressively swung for a couple seconds, so your shield was charging, so you had some shield burn, right? But if you have low shield or you just need to preserve your shield for longer, right? Don't be afraid when you're backing up. Like bring up your shield so you don't die, right? And then like walk back over here and just hard hug the wall and just don't give the enemy team anything, right? Okay, this McCree's inting, right? Block at squishies, you kill them. Good. Again, you don't need to burn shield here, right? Like, what is a Junkrat throwing bombs down this hallway gonna do? If he's lucky, he'll hit like one shot on your Junkrat who is a trap. Okay. If he's lucky, he'll hit like one shot on your Junkrat. Um, he has to be extraordinarily lucky to kill people behind you and hug this wall like nothing bad will happen real time. That way you save shield for that if like for example the enemy team gets like antsy, they're like, oh, there's no one at the Ryan's just sitting at the choke and I want to push without my Ryan or tree, and then they like try to walk through the choke. Then you like shove out, you go for like big swings, and then you back up with your shield. But you don't want to just shield for the sake of shielding. Right, so this would be a valuable shield. Why would be, sorry, hang on. Back. So, why would shielding right now be valuable? That is incorrect. I mean, your is kind of being dumb, but like, no, no. So like, why would shielding, um, maybe, but that's not the primary reason why shielding this choke is good right now when it wasn't good earlier. What's the key difference? Because this Moira's been more or less with you the whole time, right? Ball, right? So the enemy team is trying to do something, right? So walking up and cutting off the help, right? Like if you walk up to the into the choke and shield for a second, just like stand here and put your shield up, right? What is this? What is this guy supposed to do about it, right? He's trying to like he can right now he can shoot your Ana, he can shoot your hog, and he can heal his ball and all at the same time, right? But there's a shield in this way. He literally can't do any of that unless he tries to jump over your head, right? This guy suddenly is not like might take advantage of the fact your Moira's distracted, right, and kill your Moira, right? But if your Moira's looking at the junk, she's very unlikely to walk into bombs, right? But if your Moira's looking at this way, she's much more likely to walk into bombs, right? And this is all because one player on the team is doing something. So earlier there was no reason to shield because nothing was happening, right? But when the ball goes in or gets caught by the hook or something, stepping into the choke and shielding suddenly becomes super value, right? And then maybe turning around and swinging for the last hit as he tries to roll away, right? So the ball is absolutely correct, right? If you see the ball doing, or if you see anything get hooked by the Rein, like either follow up on the hook by like pinning it or like swinging at it, or like cut off the help by shielding the choke. Sense? And this is why uh I don't know where I was going with that, but shielding is like you just want to shield when something is happening, either for your team or the enemy team, right? Um, otherwise, you totally as long as like you're not it's not the onus isn't on you to make a play, right? So like if you're on attack, obviously you can't just wait for something to happen, right? But on defense, you can just chill here and chill out, and if nothing happens for 4 minutes, you win, right? But if something does happen, that's when you need to start using your resources, right? Sound good? Yeah, but then you felt obligated to charge your shield because you wasted shield earlier, right? And that's why you took like 300 damage on your HP for some Warrior Ball. Now you're still shielding, even though again, what is going on with your team? Absolutely nothing. Nothing is going on, right? So you don't need a shield. Now you decide to switch sides. Earlier it was whatever because it was at the start of the round and your team hasn't really established a position. But now that your hog is here, this is actively bad. Generally speaking, the hog does not want to be with you. So if he's already off angling from you, just leave him there, right? Hog is like super independent and he can't do anything if people are looking at him, right? So if you're standing here, all the enemy team has to do is look at you. Like the Rein has to look at you and hold the shield, and his team's going to shoot at you because like that's natural for them to do, right? And now your hog is useless because there's a big shield in his face, and the enemy team's all shooting in the direction, right? What your hog wants you to do, you to stand here like you were earlier, right? And then if someone runs into you, now their back is turned to the hog and he gets a free hook, right? Or he hooks the follow up, right? He hooks the guy behind the guy who's pushing. So earlier it's like it was whatever, but now it's actively bad that you switch sides, right? And again, you're sort of switching sides without any apparent reason, as far as I can tell. If you have a reason, like let me know. Um, like, this was working fine, right? Like it was a good spot. This is the standard position if you're intending to hold a choke, which is not very often actually. Um, yeah, like it just looked like you had wanderlust. You're just kind of like, go over to this side. And then I bet in a couple seconds you're gonna go back and you're gonna burn shield doing it. Oh, here you go. Here you go. Yep. Right, like you gotta have you gotta have a reason to be here. And again, you're actively griefing your Hog's gameplay if you just like walk over to his side all the time. This is why, generally speaking, what happens on this map is like you hold this spot right here. So this is called statue. You hold statue, and whichever side they go, you rotate to meet them. They try to push this way, right? You stand here and you meet them, and on this corridor, and they go this way, you meet them here. And in the meanwhile, your hog will like play here. That way, like no matter where they go, he can backstab, right? Yeah. But because you're forcing the action at the choke, there's not a lot of great places for your hog to stand. Which is not the end of the world, because this is not a bad spot for your for. But yeah, don't play with your hog. Or Ryan had eyes locked on hog. Yeah, I mean, staring him down. I mean, they're not doing anything. Like, it doesn't really matter if they're like staring down this hog if like they're also not doing it. You know. Again, so look at that shield right there. You burn shield across, right? That's whatever, right? Point. Now, what is the point of this shield, right? Absolutely nothing, right? There's there's no point, right? there's there's no realistic way of getting value from this shield, right? So all you got to do is just sit here, right, and wait, right? If you want, you can like shimmy the corner like while swinging, right, and maybe get a free like an extra hit on the Rein, but like at the risk of getting like maybe hit back by the Rein or getting poked from or something. But you legitimately don't have to do anything right now. So like, why are you wasting your shield? And again, you don't need to force his action. This is this is something I see from like there's a guy I know called Mad Cal Disease, and he does this all the time. Like he'll just be like, and he's GM by the way. He'll just sit here and be like, nothing's going on. I want to trade. So he'll just like walk into the choke and like swing into the other Rhine, or like he'll force a trade into the Rhine, and then like he'll get bulldozed right after that, right? Like you just gotta chill, right? Like you extended past the choke to get one swing on the Rhine, and now you're falling back and taking pressure. Like this is easily more than one Rhine swing's worth of damage, and you're losing shield for it, right? Just because you felt bored and wanted to swing, right? Like if you're gonna swing, make sure at the furthest you go is like right here, right? You never go forward. Make sense? You don't go forward until you're actively pushing him, right? So like, say you're standing here, right, and he walks into your space badly, and you get like two swings on him, and then he starts backing up, right? Then you extend and commit resources to get more pressure on the Rhine, right? More hits, because at that point the Rhine can't swing back at you, right? So you're taking less pressure while you're getting free hits in, right? But if he swings back at you, you kind of just explode, right? This is why he can swing at you freely, because like your team is not really punishing him because he's on his side of the choke still. Um, and on top of that, like he's relatively high health because the only one who hit him was you, right? So yeah, don't extend past chokes to swing. Just chill, right? If you want to like corner peek swing, you can, but don't walk past the choke. Okay. And now there's a window, and you're terrified, but you have no shield, and you have nowhere to go, right? Like you have 700 shield and 300 health. Oh my god, you're throwing a fire strike too. Uh, you have 300 HP and 700 shield to get from here to here without dying, right? And then from here, you need to get from here to like here or like back around if they actively use the window well, right? Without dying. And like that's just not a lot of resources. Alright. Yeah. It's just very risky because like if they were a better place to use the window, you actually could have just 100-0'd right there. You could have straight up just died. Which is like it's all right. But just like you need to be very confident you're not they're going to like either not be ready for like you to actually show up in the window, like you know, like there are certain assumptions you can make that like you know this McCree is already provably bad. The enemy team has also not done much, right? But this is how you lose this game, right? I don't know if this is a stomp. This kind of looks like a stomp already. It's like this is how you right. If somebody gets overconfident, does something they shouldn't, they die, and then you get snowballed, right? This is how last has happened. Because again, if nothing happens, right?
Oh, you look tired.
That's fire strike. Points. Blech, they're gross. Yeah, again, so look what you're doing. You're extending past the choke, right? You don't need to do this. They're all shooting you, and because they have nothing else to shoot at, right? And meanwhile, you're not getting anything off it. You're just burning shield, right? And then, like, again, why does this Rein have shield, right? Why did you feel pressure to shatter? It's because you have no shield. Your shield's gone, right? And you're running out of HP and everything. You got the anodate and you're still running out of HP, right? And why is this guy able to block it, right? It's because your team's not doing anything to him, so he can just block all day, right? He doesn't care. He has infinite shield now. See how that works? If instead you just stood here, right, and then if he tried to walk at you, swung at him, and then started backing up, his shield's going to break a lot faster than yours, right? And then you can start holding shield and getting angle on him for the shatter, right? And then he has to make a huge outplay in order to block the shatter. So if you're high rank, you're about to are you gonna pin? Are you gonna pin? Okay, you didn't finish. Thank God. For the entire team, this was an epic bronze round. Look at this Rein inting, right? See this Rein? This is bad play, right? And why is it bad play, right? You're backing up, right? I mean, 3 ults for no reason happens a lot. But, like, this Rein's inting. Because, like, he's got this stuff on his flank he has to worry about, right? That his team cannot ignore, right? So we talked on your last VOD about, like, pushing, like the angles, right? So, like, instead of walking straight at the enemy team, you walk at whatever is, like, actually, like, threatening. Whatever is controlling important real estate, right? And this guy, like, he sees you have no shield and just walks straight at you. Like, look at this. And so he's gonna die because he's gonna run out of shield eventually, have to back up. And meanwhile, his team can't walk up because there's a hog watching the back door. And then, again, this is why it's important that you're not standing here, because if he's walking at you, your hog's not doing it. And he's dead. Who could have predicted? Oh, this is the classic. Was not aware he was getting rezzed. Not ready for it. Yeah, he just, he's probably had his hand off the keyboard. Like, Fire Strike. Again, why are you shielding, right? What are you shielding? You're shielding for nothing, right? Don't shield. Just sit behind the choke and wait for something to happen, right? Alright, maybe a little ham there, but dead. So.
Name me, please.
Objective lost.
I'm not as young as I used to be.
I mean, just look to me like they just all pressed Q and your team died. Like, I don't know. It was fine, right? Yeah, I mean, that's reasonable, right? Like, maybe you should have, like, backed up at some point, or, like, during the minefield instead of walking forward, try to, like, get around the mines and go back and. But that's not the core problem here, right? Alright, so, again, what are you shielding, right? If you're shielding for vision, right, so you're shielding to actually look around the corner a bit, that's fine. There's actually tech you can do where you can, like, put your shield like this, like, orient it this way, so, like, the line goes like this, right? Then you can look around the corner using the adjust the camera. But, like, that's kind of an extreme thing. You can burn a few hundred shield just, like, look around the corners, right? But, like, don't just hold your shield, right? Right, this is bad, right? See, you're already down 500 shield, right? And you're still holding shield. You're still holding shield. You're giving him the freest shadow in the world, right? This Rein has not done anything, and he's taken 1,000 of your shield, right? If you look, he's doing the same thing. All right, well, ignoring that, he's giving you a free shatter and you're giving him a free shatter, right? But imagine if you don't give him free shatter, then you just get a free shatter, right? Bad. Take your free shatter. Take your free shatter. Cash it in. Don't get flashed. Just use it. Oh my god. He gave you a blank check, and you ripped it to shreds. You're like, I don't want this. This is gross. All right, this Rein straight ins, right? So he's holding shield just like you are. So he wastes all his shield. He walks in, gets hooked, doesn't shield, doesn't shatter, right? Despite the fact that you didn't put up your shield, right? Dies, right? And you turn this corner and there's 3 squishies here, right? All you gotta do is make sure you don't get flashed, so back up in like this direction, right? so you have a bit of distance between you and the three, and then shatter, and you get a 3K for yourself, right? You just straight up kill all three by yourself. I mean, like how else are they gonna deny your shatter, right? They have flashbang, and that's it, right? There's no shield, there's nothing, right? And they're all sitting here, they're all walking you because they're not respecting your shatter, right? This is free. This is free money. And then, like you first of all threw a fire strike at the McCree who was rolling at you, which is already questionable. And then second, like you're still not catching your shatter, and now your face thinking it, like oh my gosh. Make your free money. You walked over here, got an angle, and you're still not shattering, and then you're dead. It was free. Oh, you forgot you had shatter? That's awkward. Just FYI, it's slightly faster to roll out on this side if it's like not unreasonable. Sometimes you'll spawn like right here, so it's like okay, whatever. But like generally speaking, this side is like a little bit faster, if assuming like it's an equal path out of spawn. Because you can like charge over this thing, like pin off this, and like sort of slightly faster roll out. Because if you pin right now, like you're going to hit like this wall, right? You're going to hit the wall, and you're going to lose that distance. Or you have to like pin a lot later. Okay, well, I guess it doesn't matter if you don't pin at all, but.
Surrender to my will.
Alright. Your free shatter? He's not respecting it. Thank you. Oh my god, finally. Alright. So, first, you probably had to save your fire strike for that, and second, you probably should have shattered when your team had a little bit more like juice in the tank. Or just save shatter. This is a shatter that looks so juicy that you kind of take it no matter what. Like, honestly, right here, this is a good shatter, right? They're way more clumped up, and it's way more likely you actually kill them. I don't know. Maybe you just wait until you wait out the Mercy Valk. But if you're gonna wait out the Mercy Valk, you shouldn't shatter. Because the Mercy Valk is the reason why they live this, but you also kind of need the Fire Strike. Because you hit a Fire Strike, like this guy dies, right? Like you throw a Fire Strike as you're walking forward, right? And you hit him, he's dead, right? You can do this to a lot of other. First, you need to save the Fire Strike if you're hitting squishies that are farther away from you, because you only get one swing on them, right? If they're too far away. And then second is like you want to guarantee the kills or something. You might want to wait out the Mercy Valk. If that means dying for it, then whatever. And third, like if you just hit an early shatter when they're all clumped up, then like you're not gonna be baited into using your Fire Strike early. And then on top of that, like your Fire Strike will hit all of them, right? And then you walk in and hit them and they die, right? But yeah. Killing people through with one hit and shatter is just not enough, right? You need 2 hits and shatter, which means they need to be relatively close to you, or you need Fire Strike and hit. I don't know if I talked too fast there. Okay, awesome. Also, you probably should have put up your shield at some point in that sequence. Basically, as soon as you got conked by the junk, you probably should have like put up your shield readily. Alright, we'll go over one more fight, I think. That's a panic of a lifetime. Let's watch this map. Like, I'm getting shot. E. Alright, we take that, the free disc. Alright. Again, when you see the window, right, respect the window, right? Because anything else can just randomly come flying through the window and kill people, right? So just put up your shield, walk through the window, and then do what you want, okay? Because like if a junk mine just happened to fly through the window and one-shot your Mei, you'd be so sad right now. Right? Yeah, now, okay, this is the wrong order, right? So you do a Fire Strike and then walk through the window and then you put up your shield, right? Like, put up your shield first, walk through the window, right? Then do your thing, right? What's up, Gabe? Alright, Fire Strike probably. Not a lot Right, again, right? Where's our cover? Right, this is our cover, right? So we should not be here, right? If we're thinking about backing up, we should be backing up straight towards the cover, right? From here to like, instead of going around, right? Following the bend, we just like go straight at the bend, right? Duck. Duck away. Alright, so we're giving up this corner. That's fine, right? But that means that what's our next corner, right? So the obvious spots are here, right? This is the corner. Well, I'll call this 1. Here, which is 2, right? And here, which is... So between 1, 2, and 3, which one would you go to? Take your best guess. Oh, okay. 1, corner. 2, this corner. What do you walk to if you're resetting the fight? 1 or 2? Okay. So 1 is probably the worst one overall. Just because it's actually hard for your team to help you because like your natural support positioning is like here or something if you have an Ana, right? Or here if you have like a BAP or something. It's kind of awkward to heal you around this corner or something. So like playing this spot generally just makes more sense for them. Although it can work, right? So I'm not telling you never to do it. It just yeah. So 2 is the most standard, but 3 is not. Like honestly, you can make it great. The point is you can do whatever you want as long as you're walking towards that corner. It's kind of a trick question. Especially at the rank you're at, it literally doesn't matter which one you go to as long as you go to one of them and try to make it and like do what you need to make it work, right? So this is good. You pick 2, right? Yeah, I think you think you pick 2, and now I need to see you drop your shield and do nothing. Literally do nothing for a while. Maybe like walk over here and throw a fire strike around the corner. That's it. All right. This is not doing nothing, right? See, this is the problem. If your main needs help, right, you can pin in, but I don't want to see you putting up your shield when you have no shield, right? Your shield is really important, right? So like just chill here, right? If your Mei is inting, right, try and help your Mei as best you can, but don't use your shield to do it. Right? Use your body, use your hammer, right? But you need the preserved shield so that way you can use it to sustain your your body, right? Yeah, so this is fine, right? But I want you to do this earlier, okay? Because like look what your team's doing, right? So I get you don't want to help, right? Your Mei's kind of inting, right? But like what are you shielding, right? You're kind of shielding the McCree, right? Like at minimum, do nothing. And if you want to help, literally just pin in there and do it faster, right? You can help your Mei. So you're holding shield, you're not gaining your shield, and now you're gonna make a pin play with no shield, right? So this is ultra risky because if you get blown up here, right, you have no shield to sustain yourself. You get the nano, and you just cleave them all to death here, because like this is a super strong opening. Right? I got 7 HP. But like, this took a lot of resources from your team. This was like 3 ultimates, right? To salvage a play that you could have made like 5 seconds ago and not lost your Mei, and then not forced all these ultimates, right? Because like what's gonna happen now is in like another fight or two you're gonna lose. I don't have any ult.
My will may free you.
On Orisa now. Okay, so if they're on Orisa, it's even more important that you hug corners, right? Whether that be the cart serves as a cover, right? Or this spot right here, you can even hang out over here as long as you back up and actually use the cart, right? So you're being shot. But like, I don't want to see you just like face tanking Orisa because Orisa can charge shield while having shield up, right? Just by definition, when she puts a shield down, the cooldown starts, right? So she has shield, she can charge shield while shielding. So whenever you're trading shield against an Orisa, you're always gonna lose because whenever you're shielding, you're not charging shield, right? Got cliff. Right, so this is bad, right? Because what's going on? Nothing. They're not doing anything, right? So just sit behind the cart, do nothing, right? Let your shield charge, right? And they push you, then you can aggressively push them back, and then use shield to retreat, right? This is good, right? But now I want you. But now you need to actually swing on this guy and force him back, right? And also, you'd like to have the full shield when you do this, so you have a bigger security blanket. Now you're like again, you're just getting like you're getting desynced with your maze. Maze trying to make a play to punish the Rein, and you're like hard backing because you have no shield. This guy probably as well. Again, you're hard backing, right? Like you hold your ground, especially against Arista comps. They have to push into you, right? Again, this is mostly because you have no shield, right? Don't feel confidence, and then you get your mate killed. Like both these mate deaths are your fault, actually. Backing up with no shield, you throw a fire strike with no shield. Ana died because you left her to dry because you baited her because you this way as if you're getting aggressive, and then you backed out and your Ana like got left behind. Like you've actually baited like 3 teammate deaths in like the last like 30 seconds. Again, you're holding shield and you're not walking towards cover, right? Again, not walking towards cover. You're backing up into the open, your shield dies, and you have nowhere to go, right? You gotta back up this way, so that in order to extend into you, they have to walk around a corner, right? And you got a mini you can duck even further into the corner, like this is like 360 degrees almost, right? And then meanwhile, any teammate that happens to come out this door now gets a free shot into their backline, right? But now you're gonna die instead, because you have no cover, right? Again, cover to cover, right? It's cool to do stuff like fancy plays where you pin in and get a bunch of kills and you get the big shatter, right? But like, not only did you burn all your team's ult in that fight because you didn't act fast enough, now like you baited like a bunch of teammate deaths and you're not like saving, you're not even saving your own life, right? Like that's the worst part is you didn't even save yourself, right? Alright, so let's watch that as one sequence. So it's not broken up. So your Mei goes in, help your Mei, and then you just hard back. You keep putting up your shield when you have no shield. You put up your shield again, your shield breaks. You're like, okay, I'm gonna walk in here, charge my shield. Your Ana joins you, then you walk out, you're like, I'm leaving, later on. Then you put up your shield, and she doesn't make it in time, and she dies. And now you hold shield, you don't walk towards cover. And then you die. See how, do you see how like bad that like that stretch was, right? And this is why like a lot of getting better at ranked isn't like making big outplays or doing crazy stuff. It's just being consistently good on the fundamental, right? The point where you just don't make this kind of mistake. Like just like making this kind of want this mistake to be like hard to actually make happen, you know? Like it should take like mental effort to like make yourself do this. That's the goal, right? Um, but yeah, a lot of improvement from last time actually. But like a lot of the core issues are still the same, right? Fundamentals, right? Save shield, like only shield when like either need it for yourself, right? Or for when something is happening, right? And like the shield will have impact, right? And it doesn't need to be you having direct impact on what's happening, but like the shield, trading shield for stuff that's happening elsewhere, right, is generally a beneficial trade, right? Like you just want to be shielding as long as something is happening somewhere with your team, right? Um, it's probably an okay shield, right? And then also remember cover to cover to cover, right? I like nothing in the open. Don't spend any time just randomly walking like from side to side of chokes, right? Like spend as much time next to cover as you can, right? You're only leaving cover to push out and then go back to cover, right? Or you're leaving cover to move to another cover, right? But it should never just be like time in the open for just because, right? And the last thing is uh um I think that's it to be honest. Like those are like the biggest things, and like they will probably always be the biggest thing because that's kind of how Ryan works. They're always the biggest things. But they're especially important. Uh, yeah. Sound good? Any questions? Like I touched on a lot of other details, but like the biggest things are like save shield, cover to cover, right? Okay. All right. Awesome. Got another after this, and yeah.